Hi, this is Emily M. Cheung, and you're listening to Out of Our Shells, the podcast that talks about awesome women who do awesome things and have adventures. And today I'm speaking with Michelle Koebke. We've just discussed that she's changed her last name. I knew her as Michelle Koebke in university, which was a very long time ago. But we've changed it to Koebke because you wanted to have the German pronunciation. Is that your background, or?
It is. My family is from Germany, but it's when we moved over to Europe and lived in Italy for a while that some of the teachers over there said you need to have the German spelling because people are getting confused. And it really bothered my father, but what can you do? Right?
It's very true. It's very true. So we went to university for singing, actually, and you still sing a lot, right? Or?
I still do some recital work. I'm not taking on any opera roles because I'm too busy with the kids, and it's just too much of a time commitment. But I'll perform at weddings and funerals and house parties and sing for the Yacht Club or a lot with City Opera Vancouver for their recital series.
Oh, fantastic.
Things like that. It keeps me warmed. Every few months, oh no, I have to practice every day for like leading up, and then you kind of cool it off.
Yeah. But so now you're a professional photographer.
That's correct.
So how did that transition happen?
Okay, so basically, my father bought me a camera 10 years ago when my daughter was born. Do you know the story?
No,
okay.
No, tell me.
And so I started taking pictures of Acadia. That's my oldest daughter. I have 5 daughters, and the pictures were horrible. I feel so bad that I didn't keep the original, of course, shooting JPEG at the time, not even RAW, but the original files because I could go back now and edit them properly. But I was smoothing out the skin and brightening up the eyes and just making them look like aliens and cartoons. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I just became in love with photography, just shooting her and shooting like flowers and things like that. Ooh, look at this flower.
Yeah.
Like it's never been done before. And then I went to do an opera retreat for Così fan tutte or Don Giovanni. I can't remember which one came first, but it was with Luke Hausner. One was in Portland for 10 days, and then I came back for a few weeks, and then I had one in Victoria.
Okay.
And so we were there, and I remember distinctly lying in my bed and having Mozart running through my head and thinking, I do not have Dora the Explorer running in my head right now. I actually have Mozart coursing through my veins.
Right.
And it was an amazing time to be away. And so with all this free time, at this point, I'd practiced with my camera for a few years. We'd accumulated a few more babies. I had 3 children at the time. And so this was a big getaway for me to be gone for 10 days.
Wow, yeah.
And so I was so bored. What do I do when I'm used to taking care of like a husband and 3 babies? And so I would just ask the other singers, like, do you want a headshot? Can we go practice? And of course, after taking a couple shots of a few of the cast members, then they all just wanted their free photos, right? I wasn't even charging. I'd be like, oh, I'll charge you $20, right? And I just would get practice. And then I came back and started a stranger project where I'd go out every day and just approach a random stranger.
I think I remember seeing that. That was really interesting.
Yeah, I just needed to get out of the house. It was a lot. I had 4 children at that time. Yeah. And it really is 10,000 hours of practice before you feel that you're not crap. Can we say shit on this podcast? I don't know. Like, the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. Like, you don't know how bad you are when you start because you just think everything, you're over sharpening all the eyes and everything. Oh my goodness. Like, no offense to the people who got headshots like 10 years ago, but right?
Yeah.
So now I've taken training all online, no schooling.
Really?
Right?
Okay,
No,
wow.
just YouTube taught basically, and just practicing and reaching out to different models and people, and then charging and just, now I shoot weddings and I shoot a lot of shows.
Yeah,
which is great. And oh my goodness, I love going to the opera or going to the recital and basically like being part of it and being part of the team, but coming in on the last day when they've gone through all the rehearsal, they've gone through all the prep, and I'm really there to support the singers. Like, I understand what vowel shape looks good and that they want to be slimmed in a little bit, right?
It's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
So I think that like a singer shooting singers is so ideal, and I just love being involved in that way.
Yeah.
And I can have a cold, I can stay up till 2 a.m. editing, whereas if I'm singing a concert, like I don't even yell at my kids the week leading up to that. Like, right? You just can't. But
it's true.
When that concert's over, that room gets cleaned.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, there's so much more freedom in being a photographer, but I still get to have the music aspect. And I've seen so many more shows as a photographer than I ever did as a singer. Like, I get to see so many operas that, wow, I've never actually listened to this opera all the way through, right?
Yeah.
And then you just become known, and then people just keep asking, and it skyrockets from there with consistency and your branding and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm very blessed to have the best of both.
That's a fantastic way to combine the two. And like you said, like being a photographer who knows what it's like to be a singer, there are definitely positions that singers put their mouths that does not look good. That's right. And I've had many of those photos, those like action photos where you're like, ooh.
Yeah, you don't want to see every photo. And even when I'm culling, like I feel like a mama bear instinct. Like I'm always hearting the favorites as I do my culling process, and I'm backing up everything. And I'm not judging people if they look heavy in a certain angle or they've kind of half blinked or whatever. I just kind of pass through it.
Yeah.
And I feel very, like I said, mama bear instinct, very supportive that, okay, they don't need to see themselves like that, but I'm going to show them the way that they want to be seen.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's really great. So what is one of your favorite shows that you shot?
Oh, the very first opera that I ever shot was for the Academy, and it was Susanna and not, the Floyd, right?
Yeah.
The English opera. And I literally remember, not figuratively, but literally, was crying with tears like coming down my cheeks as I was photographing it. I'm like, am I even part of this? And the other thing, I can barely go to a recital now and not shoot it. Like, it's so hard to sit in a seat, right? I want to be up in the balcony. I want to be moving. I mean, some shows I do have to just stay stationary and shoot it. Yeah. But my mind is going around and seeing all the little scenes and the little vignettes that
all the different angles and the little things.
So that was my first one where I said, oh my gosh, this is so colorful and so bright, and experiencing the music like live like that. But anything that Janine Finn will direct is very well directed, and she kind of blocks out. So when I'm visually capturing it, I'm kind of capturing her little vignettes. She's really good at that.
That's a good thing
in her directing. Yeah, like she puts a button at the end of everything. It's like dun da da, and then they're all like in a pose that looks good for a photo.
Right.
So those have always been great. Pacific Opera Victoria not Pacific Opera. Pacific Opera Northwest, which is in Bellingham.
Okay.
So I don't charge them because it's illegal to shoot down there, right? So,
oh, really?
Well, I'm not American.
Right.
Yeah. But they have this gorgeous little gem of a theater, and I've shot like 9 shows for them.
Fantastic.
And like they just did The Ring recently. I couldn't shoot that because I had a birthday thing. But their Rigoletto and their Don Giovanni was great, and like beautiful costumes and sets and the full orchestra and this theater is so beautiful. What else did they do that was so interesting? They put on Aida. Like, wow. They're a crazy company. So they were great. And then, of course, I would be remiss to not mention City Opera Vancouver. So I've shot many, many shows for them, including Pauline, which was Margaret Atwood's first opera.
Yeah.
So I got to meet her and sit in with her.
Fantastic.
Tobin Stokes is the composer. Of course, beautiful.
He's doing some great stuff
music.
now.
He's amazing. Actually, maybe we can talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
He wrote a song for me.
Oh, really?
I commissioned him.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great.
I'll tell you in a second because it was very dear to my heart.
Yeah.
But also Missing, which was about the Aboriginal women that were missing. So, and both of those operas got the cover of Opera Canada.
And was it your photo?
Yeah.
So
that was so cool.
Congratulations.
Of course.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, during Pauline, I was going through such a difficult time personally that I actually didn't even tell anyone on social media that I had the cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
For real.
Well, now we know, guys.
I didn't even post, right? But then when I got the cover for Missing, I said, this is my second cover, and I'm so happy, and then I shared it.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the difference between shooting sort of live action for you versus, like, because you do a lot of portraiture work as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so what, as a photographer, what is the difference for you?
Well, I guess it's when you're shooting live, like there's stuff going on all the time. You're not directing people. You can't be like, can you just die again? Like I want to get this angle. Like you have to get it like in the moment. It's like a wedding. It's like sports photography.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there observing. Whereas with a portrait, you're like a director, right? And we're talking about the vision and how they want to be captured in their brand. And you're posing everything, right, to the
So when you
eyelash.
so you said that you come in on the last show, so you don't see any of the show before you actually
No, just
shoot.
the dress rehearsals.
Oh, so you do. Oh, okay. So you shoot the dress rehearsals.
I shoot the dress. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is
So
fun.
yeah, okay. So you've sort of seen a little bit what's happened. So you have so you can plan ahead is what I'm talking about.
No, I only shoot the one show.
That's it. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're really catching everything like right
Yeah,
in the moment
exactly.
as it happens.
Sometimes I can come back and shoot the show, but I don't shoot mirrorless yet. So I'm shooting Canon 5D Mark III, and I still have a click sound. So I really don't like to shoot live shows because I don't want to be a distraction. I realize that Canon has a mirrorless body right now out, but it has a single
Mirrorless
card.
means what?
So basically, the shutter is not clicking over. It's going straight onto the sensor.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a phone, like you know how you shoot a phone silently. It's kind of like that. It's like a big phone.
Yeah.
The technology is new. Sony is the ideal brand for this right now.
Okay.
And they do have a dual card slot system.
Okay.
But for me, I would never shoot an irreplaceable event like a wedding or a concert with a single card slot because that card can get corrupted. And so Canon doesn't yet have a 2-card slot body.
Gotcha.
So when they do in the fall, I will upgrade to that, and then I'll be able to shoot silently. I mean, I have definitely shot many concerts. But you know, the trick to shooting a concert is your energy. Like, you don't just act like you own the place and you're there in your zone doing your work. Like, if somebody turns around and then notices you, you have to give them the nicest smile with your eyes, like as if that's like your grandma, and you nod at them like, oh my gosh, isn't the music so amazing? And then you look straight back at the stage and you stop shooting, and then they have that moment with you where you're both there for the music.
Right.
You're not there to get the shot. You're just like, we're enjoying this moment together. Like, for example, I shoot the Vancouver Women's Musical Society.
Oh, yeah.
I'm their publicity chair.
Yeah.
So I shoot all of their shows, and they are live. And there's an audience there that's familiar with me. But sometimes people will come as guests to the concert series, and they'll look back like, who's this photographer here, right? And you just kind of give them the little smile and the little nod, and then you look back at the stage, and then they look at the stage, and then you move to the other side of the room, and you stop shooting for like 5 minutes, right? And you just play it like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Oh my gosh, the Vancouver Women's Society.
Yeah.
I think I sang a recital for them back when I was like maybe 16.
Really?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh,
I distinctly remember that. It was when I still had I had a boyfriend for a long time who I'm still really good friends with, and
Sean?
Sean. He played piano and I sang, and his sister sang now, Nikki, who I'll have on the show as well, who's also an amazing woman. God, that was a long time ago. Sorry, just blast from the past moment.
They're a 114-year-old society now.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
114 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, we can't say shit.
Yeah. Well, we can beep it out.
Bleep it out.
Exactly. Actually, my very first singing teacher, Mrs Hovick, she was the president of that.
Do you know she just passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a memorial fund now for her that we give to
really?
the bursars. Yeah, the Pat Hovick Memorial Fund.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually sang for her memorial.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I came
No
back.
way.
I came back just in. I was in Europe for 6 years, and I came back just in time to see her a couple times, and then and then she rapidly declined, and then and I actually have a bunch of her furniture.
Oh, no way, really?
Her daughter, right, is
yes,
fantastic violinist, I believe it is.
I'm not familiar.
I think so.
Yeah.
And she just happened to be there, and when I was seeing Mrs. Hovick for the last time, and she's like, I don't need any of this furniture. I live in Winnipeg. Do you want it? I had just moved back, and I was like,
wow.
Yes. Yes,
that is
I do.
so cool.
So I have a bunch of her stuff, actually. She's still with me today. Oh, that woman. My guardian angel, for sure.
Do you know about the art song competition?
Yeah.
Did you hear about it through social media a little bit?
I think I may have.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's been a bit, it's been a...
Last year was the inaugural year, like the first year, and then we were supposed to do it this year, but it just became too complicated. So we're gonna skip next year and do it every 3 years now.
Oh wow!
So it's for professionals. It's not just for.
Oh, is there an age limit of any kind?
No age limit.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I fought
usually
really hard
those
for
things have
that.
an age limit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, an art song competition.
Yeah. So
cool.
it's 15 minutes, minimum 2 languages, minimum 2 composers, and good prize money, and
Great.
So we'll talk about that when it comes out. we'll push that through.
Yeah,
I would really like more people that are professionals to come and collaborate and work together. Like there was this one husband-wife team that hadn't performed together in many, many, many years. And they're like husband and wife, right?
Yeah.
He plays piano and she sings.
Yeah.
And they got a beautiful honorable mention. And we had Tyler Duncan and Erica Switzer coming from New York to adjudicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. So like that's the kind of stuff that lights me up, is just creating stuff that's going to leave a legacy and be something, you know, another 114 years from now. Who knows? So this is a new thing that we've put together.
Great. So you're the publicity?
The publicity chair. Yeah.
Chair.
I'm co-chair now because I'm like, I'll take the pictures, but I need to post my own stuff online. I am not taking any more responsibility.
So what kinds of things are you doing online then right now?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we were talking about how you have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do. My name is Focused Photographer, which is funny because we always try and teach what we struggle with, right?
Yeah.
And there's just tips and tricks for photography. And then, of course, just building my influence through Instagram and my blog, which I've kind of halted on a little bit just because I felt like adding so many pictures was stalling the refresh time on it. So I may switch to a different template. Do you have a website?
I do have a website, yes.
Squarespace, or what do you use?
I don't know. My man made it for me.
Oh, you lucky girl.
Yeah. Yes, he's he kind of does those things professionally. So, you know, it's a ta-da.
Ta-da, it's done. Oh,
yeah. If you need a website, I can highly recommend.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with everything. I really find right now that 95% of my work is referrals, like word of mouth. Like I'm getting people from all over just saying, hey, I'm in town and I like all my friends shoot with you and I've heard this or I've heard that. And that's the best, right? Because you just know that you're going to connect.
Exactly. And also it's a person that, you know, you've had fun shooting with. And so their friends are most likely going to be somebody that you're also going to have fun shooting with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've had a few kind of nightmare clients. I don't want to get into it. But they've all been people that I have no other connection to, right? So like when it's like a friend of a friend, like they kind of set it up like, this woman's amazing, but she has 5 children and she may be like a little bit late with your edits. So like be patient with her, but when you get them, they'll be awesome. And you know what I mean? But like people who just hire you, like going to the grocery store or whatever, they just go to McDonald's and they want like their Big Mac that's exactly how it's supposed to be made and they don't want it to taste differently. Like they just want to have their product consistent. Like I'm just a one-woman show. So I need a little bit of flexibility sometimes. I don't have a big staff under me.
Right.
And the people that have burned me the worst have been just like bargain hunters and people that have been like, oh, I heard that you have a deal on, you know, engagement sessions and they come free with a wedding and we'd love to do that and drive up like 2 hours out of town to do this like exotic location. And then, oh my gosh, it's just been a disaster. And then they're like, well, we don't want to book you for the wedding, but you know, and then you edit all the photos within like 24 hours, you give a sneak peek. And then a week later you get them their shots and they're like, oh, can you remove this bra strap? And can you do all these Photoshop edits? And you're like, heck yeah, I can. And, you know, and then, but then you have other things come up and then you procrastinate and then and then your customer service drops.
Right.
Because it's such a myth that, you know, you get to be your own boss and you get to like make your own hours. They say being an entrepreneur, it's like you get to choose which 18 hours you work a day, right? Because you're just so busy all the time. You don't have one boss that you can hate and gossip about to your husband. You have 30 bosses and they all want priority. And do you know what I mean? Like every month you're turning over with new people that you just hope you're not going to hit a landmine. Yeah. It's high stress being an entrepreneur.
It is.
For sure.
But I mean, it does have its bonuses as well.
Oh, it's so wonderful though. Yeah, I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And then you speaking about your 5 children. So how do you balance being this amazing photographer and having 5 kids?
I'd like to say coffee, but I don't really drink coffee, so that's kind of a lie. But it just seems like the thing I should say.
How old are they now?
The oldest is 10, and the youngest is 3.
I remember when she was like a baby. I think it was the last time I saw her.
Really?
Yeah. We sang a concert together eons ago. Well, 10 years ago, I guess. I think that might have been the last time I saw you. Oh, wow. And she was really a baby. She was a beautiful, beautiful child, which I can understand why you took so many pictures of her to begin with.
Oh, yeah. She bluest eyes, all the girls. And they just, they look the same but different, all of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have very few photos of them now.
Really?
I'm just so busy with clients.
Yeah. You took a lot of them though back in the day though. So the 10
or I do, but I don't post as much, right?
Yeah,
because I'll throw them on the hard drive and I'll edit these later, right?
Yeah.
We actually had a YouTube channel for a while for my daughter where she was doing cooking videos, and
Really?
it was so cool. And then all the other kids wanted to do it, but
That's cute.
it just became, oh, sorry, Mama has to like edit for clients. Like I can't be editing all these videos, and that's kind of how it went. So that's another reason why I just picked up that new kind of, less expensive, less professional mirrorless camera to kind of see how the mirrorless system works out, but also just to keep in my purse and to shoot the kids more often. But yeah, still holding out for that dual card slot. No endorsement from Canon. I just love their color profile.
Ta-da! Yeah. Okay, so sorry, they're 10 and...
10, 9, 8, 6, and 3.
10, 9, 8, 6, and 3. Goodness.
Yeah.
So
we figured out what causes it now, so it's good.
What?
No, and full disclosure, I will tell this to anyone, like, I've had my tubes tied. I am done. I'm done. I'm not even with my partner right now, but it doesn't matter. Like, I am just happy with them. And yeah, Rose was a perfect way to end off. And did you know that I photographed my labor with her?
No. You did? You photographed it yourself?
Yeah. Should I tell that story?
Yes,
I literally thought that's why you wanted me on here to talk about that. It's
I mean, that's amazing. How did you?
Okay.
How? I mean, I guess you've done it 4 times already, so you kind of knew the process. But
I did get an epidural. I had epidurals with all of them. This is actually why we didn't have Magdalena in Italy when we were living in Milano, because they don't do epidurals over there. So I've been told. So I'm like, we're coming back to Canada.
Wow. Okay.
To have her. No, but with Rose. So she was due on New Year's and then born on Christmas. Oh. Which is very cool.
Wow.
I did all of my Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve, and then, of course, went into labor early because, you just exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
But basically, I called over my friend to watch the girls, and threw my camera and a wide-angle lens in my purse and a pair of panties, and got in a taxi and then went to the hospital. And everybody was making triple overtime, so they were all like in such a good mood. And I documented all the aspects of it. So like in the taxi, and like tried to shoot through mirrors, and like the mirror in the roof and in the room. And like at one point I wanted to get out of bed and like try and make this like dramatic kind of moment. And I'm like, no, I'm staying in the bed, because it was too painful. But they brought a mirror in. I've of course like covered everything that would be inappropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I documented the whole thing, and then when people came to visit me, kind of from my perspective, and actually was taking video as she was coming out.
Wow.
Right, like from my bed, like from my perspective.
From your perspective. Whoa.
And then switched it into shooting, and then was shooting it, and I got it tack sharp at 2.8 right on her face. Everything else is like blurry, that like cropped in camera. Oh my gosh, it was my happiest thing. So a few days before the labor, I woke up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I went to this Facebook group and I said, has anybody ever photographed their own labor? And I was Googling it and trying to find, and apparently like nobody had it. I was like, are you kidding me? That'd be like photographing your own wedding, right? Yeah. Like, no, like people, there's birth photographers, of course. We had one with our 4th daughter.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to do it. And everyone was supporting me. You should do it. That would be so amazing. Even if you get 1 or 2 shots, and bring your camera to the hospital.
Yeah.
So then, because I knew that my husband wasn't going to be there for that birth. I was like, okay, this will be different. They were all born in Vancouver, and this was going to be in Surrey. It's just going to be different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to try and do this. And it got me through it, just thinking about
it as a
how
professional.
cool this would be, right?
I can't even imagine.
So then afterwards, I was even shooting the freaking placenta. Like I didn't even see that was in my body. I was just framing it and getting the composition. Like it was so crazy. I was like, I was literally on drugs. I had an epidural. It was crazy. And then, are we like blowing out the mics here?
No, I think it's fine.
Guys probably like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I'll give a top.
So then I came home, and I was so proud of myself. And she was perfect. And of course, I tried to do newborn shots, and newborns is the one genre I won't touch because I'm just horrible at shooting newborns. It's a very specific genre, like the pose shots, and you have to do it,
the cupping
like
of
the
the
wrapping,
with
the wraps and stuff. I've bought tutorials, man. Like I've tried it.
Yeah.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
No. But there are some people that love it, and it's like their passion, so they can have the babies.
Exactly.
So anyways, I was shooting her. I was kind of readjusting. And then I had the 5 girls all by myself at that point.
Yeah.
And then I just put the photos on a hard drive. And then I got this text about 6 months later, and someone said, Michelle, is this you? And there was this article in the Huffington Post, photographer, like first in the world to shoot her own labor. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look, and there is this other woman who shot her own labor literally on the day that I got the idea at like 3:30 in the morning. She was literally in labor at that time, shooting her own labor. It was the weirdest thing ever. At first, I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, she stole my idea. I should never have posted it in the group. Like, this was supposed to be my, of course you come from ego. But then I found out later that no, she actually did do it first. And it was just like a coincidence. And now so many of my friends have done it. And now every time in these private Facebook groups for photographers, people say, oh, has anyone ever done this? Then people tag me and they send the gallery and people are like, you should do it, you should do it. So now tons of people have done it. It's not a big deal anymore.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. And I'm not having any more babies, so can't do anything unique with the next one, unfortunately. But
yeah. Did you ever post those photos though for anything?
I did have them originally on my old blog, and I shared them on Christmas a year later.
Right. Yeah.
Right, to be like, oh, this is what I was doing last Christmas.
Okay.
But yeah, some people don't like to see that stuff online. Like, it got, I think, 10,000 likes or something like that on Facebook. People were like, oh my gosh, because it was a great photo.
Yeah.
Like, compositionally and everything. And then to know that the photographer was the one in labor. It's kind of fun. So yeah, I like following the muse. Right? I always find that when I follow the muse, I'm in a good space. Mm-hmm. And it just works through me. Like, again, it's not about me. It's about... you get this idea, and actually this kind of brings me back to Tobin Stokes, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so my dad, after my mom passed away, do you know my mom passed away?
No.
Oh yeah, 2016. Oh. It was brutal.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, did you see the video? She's literally like been given her last rites, and I brought my camera to the hospital, and I'm like, just trying to talk with her, capture some wisdom. Yeah. And she's like, Michelle, there's just always something to be grateful for. And I'm like, Mom. Like, like, she's so awesome.
Mom.
Anyhow, yeah, miss her every minute of every day, quite literally. So my dad found this poem that was written by a monk, and it talks about a ship and how you're on the shore and you see the ship leave and go onto the horizon, and then it is still as large in mast and spar as it is when it's on the seashore, but when it's going over to the horizon, it doesn't diminish in size. Like, it diminishes in our view because it gets smaller as it gets to the horizon,
right.
But it's actually still as large, right? So then as we say goodbye, the people on the other side are saying hello, like they're saying, hooray, here comes the ship. So this was kind of the analogy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, then I sent that poem to Tobin, and then he wrote it into an art song for me.
Oh,
that was the whole point.
Great.
So I think that this is a really nice metaphor just for when ideas come to us. And have you read the book Big Magic? Mm-mm. Okay, so this concept actually came to me before I read the book, and then someone said, oh my goodness, Michelle, you have to read Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic because this is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So my kind of epiphany was that when you get an idea, that if you don't embrace it and you don't go with it, that idea will go to somebody else, that these ideas are like living and that they float around. And so that's why I just thought it was so funny that I had shot the labor and then she had shot the labor and we had this idea.
Right.
But yeah, there have been many ideas that I've had that I haven't acted on, and then see a few months or a year later that somebody else has done it. Like, my mom always thought about Nair, the hair product. She's like, I thought of that when I was 15. Just rub it on your legs and the hair goes away, right? I invented that. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't, Mom. Right? So when we get these inspirations, when the muse speaks to us, we can take it upon the challenge upon ourselves, or we can just let it pass on, like say, okay, that's not for me. Thank you for coming. And this is the whole concept of the book.
Right.
And then move on.
Yeah.
Because it just wants to be birthed. It just wants to be made manifest. Wow. And so it will go to
whoever.
A soul and an energy until it can be made manifest.
Love that.
Right? So get the book.
Fantastic.
Read the book.
Big Magic.
Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Okay,
yeah.
oh, absolutely. Actually, that reminds me of I just went to New York for the first time in January with my partner, and
I've never been.
I had never been either. Is like I said, for my first time, and I didn't know whether I would like it because I honestly didn't really like London. It was too busy. Everybody was really into their own selves, and it wasn't a very communicable city. So I thought maybe New York might be like that as well. But I went there, and I happened to stay with a good friend of mine because he was doing a work transfer there. And it was fantastic. And I ended up seeing one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, which was written and directed by my friend Michael McQuillan.
Okay.
And it was also about this idea of muses, and how this one character passes away, and then he's sort of in this stuck zone, and he ends up becoming this muse for a bunch of different artists, and it was absolutely incredible.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What was the name of the work?
Infinite Hotel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he had done a few different. Michael had sort of made this project, and it had gotten progressively bigger and bigger and bigger until he did this sort of final version. And the way it was shot as well, it was really, really interesting because it was in this large sort of rectangular warehouse, and there was a balcony that was around the three sides of it. And so as an audience member, you could actually sit in the balcony and watch what was happening live on the bottom, on the floor. And you had headphones on, you were listening to a live mix of what was going on, but you also had screens, like televisions in front of you, because they were filming the entire thing in one through shot. So you saw it live, and then you could also see what the camera was capturing.
Oh, that is so cool.
It was so cool. And then the people who were sitting in the bottom became a part of the action. So they actually had audience members become extras in the show.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then they send you a video of that night when you were there. So if you were actually in the audience and got to be a part of the extras, then you were actually in the video. Oh my gosh. It was just, I can't speak enough about how Michael is just the most amazing guy ever. But, yeah, this idea of muses is a really lovely thing for sure.
Well, and we have I don't want to endorse this program because I'm only on day 16, but I'm doing this like little weight loss thing.
Oh yeah.
And he's talking about like the food angel and the food devil. Like we do have that dialogue in our head. It's like like Starbucks is over there. It's like, no, we've already had a Coca-Cola today. We don't need the caffeine. It's like, yeah, but like you're all by yourself and you don't have the kids, and it'd be so peaceful and it would kind of accelerate the experience. Yeah, but the calories and you're trying to lose weight. It's like, yeah, but it's just one, and we can go to the gym tomorrow. Like you have this dialogue going on in your mind, right?
100%.
So that's the muse also, right?
Yeah,
like we should have hummus and carrots. Okay, fine, go to the convenience store. So yeah, and we're either. And that's what also procrastination is. Mm-hmm. And like procrastinating that I knew that I should be posting those photos of the labor, and that maybe that could have gotten picked up by, Huffington Post or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I just kind of sat on it and I just ignored it and I pushed it away and I pushed it away and I pushed it away. And then it just walked off and just went to someone else and said, hey, do you want to get posted? Like, come on. And then that was her victory. And I actually wrote her and was like, I'm really proud of you and stuff,
Oh, that's
trying to make peace. Yeah,
that's very.
So I didn't want to be envious because it was my own fault, right? Like I hate the be a victim, like it's all your fault. It's like, no, I have to take responsibility for my own actions here. Yep,
absolutely. Okay, so taking photographs of your own birth. I mean, not your own birth. Sorry, your own labor.
No,
so difficult. That's definitely a problem. What can you name another project that really also has been really personal for you?
The Stranger Project was
the
amazing.
First one that you did. Yeah.
And people were pretty amiable to me, like being a woman and just with my cheerful attitude,
Yeah.
I only had, I think, 2 or 3 people that didn't like the photos I took, and one guy's like, I'm not fond of my nose in this picture. It was so funny. So that was a cool project. I also put together a project at the Silk Purse a couple years ago. Just that you've sung there?
Yeah. Also, like ages ago.
So it was like the Women of Art song. And so I was photographing like Amor and Lydia and Chloris, and trying to do photographs of these characters and then doing the songs, like Gretchen at the Spinning Wheel.
Oh, okay.
Of course, like, oh my goodness, that was such a gong show. I actually got a spinning wheel from the Spinning Wheel Society of Chilliwack the morning of that shoot.
Oh, wow.
And it turned out that there was like a chorus member from Vancouver Opera that was in the society, and she had the spinning wheel, and then she drove it to my mom's house, and like it just, the planning was very ad hoc, but it all came together.
I love it when those things, like when you actually like, I need a thing. I need a thing.
And then it just kind of like, need a spinning wheel.
Comes to you from one random angle that you didn't think it would ever come to you from. Yeah.
So again, like these were really just not snapshots. Like they were beautiful portraits, but they weren't like what I can do now with my composite work. Do you know what composite?
Yeah.
Like when I'm, adding in different backdrops and like adding in like pieces of the wardrobe and the hair and things like that. Like now I have much more skill as an artist with Photoshop, whereas back then I think I was editing on my iPad still with like an app. You know, it was really crazy. Yeah. But of course, we printed them like the size of a door and had them hanging on the wall.
Whoa.
And we were just like, oh, I'm going to do this recital.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to go into it with passion. And then you only know later that you are not at the top of the mountain. Like you're going, they say, you know, you go around the mountain and you have the same view, different altitude. Oh. Right? So then you go up and you're a little bit higher, but same view. Yeah. Right. So you're facing your same demons. You're going through your same stuff. Yeah. But you know a little bit more. You learn a bit more.
That's a really lovely analogy. I've never thought about that one before. You were mentioning that that you shoot a lot of in Indian weddings now. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into that?
How did I get into that? I think I was recruited. To kind of second shoot. So for a wedding, you have like the main photographer that they hire and you sign the contract with. But of course, for the Indian weddings, there's like 700-800 people sometimes, right? Wow. So they will have like 3 photographers and 3 videographers. And I would do video also. So I was kind of valuable that I could kind of go in either way. And so I worked for a bigger company. I don't think if I should name them, but kind of under their brand. Okay. And they booked me up all last summer. And so I would just go shoot the wedding, take my card out at the end, and then give them the card and then go. And
that was it?
And they would pay me. Yeah. Wow. So no editing, which is like, you know, the easiest part. Yeah. So just tons of learning on the job. And then now I have some of my own clients, right? Of course, I don't speak the language yet. Which is coming, but you know, learning Hindi is very difficult compared to like, well, no, I mean, we understand languages. I'm like, oh, you know, we speak German and French and Italian and
Spanish and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've even sung in Chinese, right, in Mandarin.
Yeah.
So, but I just need to listen to more Hindi pop songs maybe, or Punjabi pop songs. I don't know. Put it to music, but it's difficult. So yeah, it's been really cool to be immersed in that culture, and it's so beautiful. Like the attire is so beautiful. And so there's a lot of makeup artists that need photo shoots for their portfolio. Right. Of course, the makeup is so extravagant, right? Yeah. And then there's clothing vendors that hire me. I have jewelry vendors that hire me. And I've got this one wonderful jewelry vendor that's hired me many, many times over and over, because I will like take her entire load of like, you know, $15,000 worth of jewelry and go to like Art Naps and be like, hi, can I shoot here for 3 hours? And like hang the earrings off of like little bonsai trees and like put them in the rocks and like put them in the herbs and just try and do like unique things. Yeah. Like she had this beautiful green necklace that I kind of curved, and then I put some asparagus and then some kale and then some peas, and it kind of made like a circle but with the necklace. I don't know like if she's gonna use it or not, but I thought it was cool. Yeah. So again, just followed my muse. She can delete it. She doesn't like it, whatever. We ate the vegetables. It was good. So that's a creative challenge. Shooting stuff that doesn't have a heartbeat is very difficult for me. I mean, details for weddings, you can make work, but yeah, like say, hey, here's like 25 jewelry pieces and like make them beautiful. Like there's only
it's a
so
completely
much
different thing.
Yeah. And you're trying to impress. You want them to be happy with the photos, but they're like, no, I just trust your vision. Like that's the worst. You're like sticking them into candles. You're like going to Value Village. You're getting plates. You're getting stuff. You know, it's just one cool shoot after another, one day at a time.
Yeah. And so does living in Surrey like help? I mean, you said that there's a large.
Well, there's Payal Business Center. It's like the geographical center for all of the attire of the culture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, and in Delta. Yeah. Like all the Crown Palace and all the banquet halls are in that area. So it's nice because I'm not driving all the way to Vancouver when I'm shooting these Indian weddings. Although many of them are in Vancouver too. So it just depends.
Crown Palace. So that's
like these are palaces. Like they have chandeliers that are like bigger than my bed, like, you know, and like 15 of them. Like it's so beautiful. Like it's almost like a rococo, you know. It's just like so ornate, and like every single person, even just like the cousin's sister's friend who just came because they had nothing to do is wearing like
the most
extravagant attire. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
Like,
I've never actually been to an Indian.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I'll have to take a look at some of your photos. I mean, I know what the aesthetic looks like, but
yeah, it's very different. Like a friend of mine who was a makeup artist invited me to her wedding before I'd ever shot an Indian wedding. And so, for example, the Sikh ceremony, you start out down in the basement, and everybody eats for like an hour and a half before you even go up, and then you all take off your shoes, then you go upstairs, you have to cover your head, and then they have this big long ceremony, and then and also there are multiple days. Do you know this?
Oh, okay. Vaguely in the back of my brain.
Yeah. So you're not doing like, the morning all the way till midnight where you would with a typical Caucasian wedding.
Yeah.
So you will have then you go back to the bride or the groom's house and you do the games, and then you're kind of done for the night at 5:00.
Oh.
And then the next day at 6:00 you have the reception till midnight, right?
Okay.
And then you can have another thing in there. You'll have the formal portraits. So sometimes I'll even get sent to just do the formal portraits on the third day, because the photographer is like, I've used all my tricks, I'm tired, this couple wants something different, they've got maybe another double booked engagement, and so they're like, can you just go and do the portraits for this hour and then meet me at the reception hall? And that's great, and it's so beautiful.
Amazing.
It's fun.
Okay,
so cool. They have different outfits, different makeup for each day. And sometimes on the day that they have to get up early, the makeup artist will start at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's wonderful.
That's quite the... I guess the only thing I just watched Sense8. I don't know if you...
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a TV program just on Netflix, and then one of the characters has as one of these weddings. So that's my only
your
actual
point of reference,
no, which is nothing at all. But so do you have a lot of friends then who are Indian? That you said you have even your babysitters sometimes, or?
Oh sure, yeah, but I wouldn't just. I've got friends that are Black. I've got friends that are Asian. I've got friends that are Indian. Yeah, of course. The daycares that I put my children into for the last few years, they have been based with people that are immigrants here.
Oh, great.
And they're just so lovely. And they're like, oh, when I go to India this fall, I'm going to bring back dresses for all your girls. I'm like, oh, I'll give you money for that. They're like, no, we'll just bring them. I'm like, well, I've been paying you. What's the point? They're so generous and lovely. But and they're always like, oh, the blue eyes.
Yeah.
Right? And actually, I'll have some models that will put the blue contacts in their eyes. I'm like, why do you do that? You're so beautiful otherwise. You always want what you don't have, right?
It's true. It's true. I was just in Taiwan for 2 weeks, I was mentioning.
Okay.
And one of the things in their quote, their drugstore type thing, will be an entire wall of colored contacts. Yeah. Just an entire wall. And
that's crazy.
And, yeah.
Do we have that here? I don't feel like I've noticed that.
No, not. I mean, certainly it is a small thing, and I have seen people, but not an entire wall where you can get them in your prescription and everything, and purple and green and all these different and all these different brands. It was incredible. It was a lot. I almost bought some because they were Mermaid.
Oh, multiples?
Well, they were, yeah. I mean, they were kind of pinky purple, and they were branded as Mermaid contacts, and I was like, well. That's one way to get me is through anything Mermaid.
I'm loving the purple
branded
hair right now. That's
thanks.
Suits you.
I love it so much.
Hey, can I see your nails? Can I see?
Oh, then my nails are just.
They're just plain.
Yeah.
You should tell your listeners about how you would come every morning to.
Oh my gosh.
And have
right.
ornate designs. How do you do that? I can't even just put clear on mine.
Back in university, I had these nail polish pens that I found. That they were kind of like a whiteout pen, but they were nail polish instead. And so yeah, you're right.
Do you remember? We said each other, and every morning I'd be like, let me see your nails.
I totally forgotten about that. Yeah, I had things written on them. I did little seascapes.
Yes, you did.
Cars or whatever it was that I haven't done nails like that in a long time. Well, actually in Vienna, I had this one friend who did the shellac nails, and she had color changing nail polish.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was amazing.
Like cold and hot?
Cold and hot, yeah. But it was pink to blue and yellow to green. It was really a really stark difference. And I love that because I love any kind of gradation between one color and another color. So
I can
have
see
it.
that.
Yeah. So having the mid tone, when you're neither hot nor cold, was absolutely amazing.
No, but coming up with everything now, Did you have the Frappuccino, the kind of mermaid one, or the unicorn one? Did you have it? I don't know.
I have not tried it myself. I have seen it.
It's too much. There's going to be mermaid pizza soon, and
mermaid and unicorn has now become the thing.
Have you read about that? How it's the symbol? It's all satanic and.
Oh no.
Okay, we won't go there, but you can YouTube it. It's supposed to be propaganda and trying to get the younger generation to
unicorns.
Yeah.
Satanic.
Yeah.
How are unicorns satanic?
I'm not going to get into this right now.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But wow, no, I haven't heard of that one before. I have to take a look at it myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Yeah. So the rainbows and stars thing. Would you mind? We were just talking about it earlier, and I would love to just briefly for you to say how you got into it, like how it came to be, why you did it, and then what it is.
I was very unhappy. I was struggling, man.
Yeah.
Because it was like my marriage was failing. My mother had died. I was all alone. I just bought a place. Like I bought a place in Surrey to kind of be close to my family, and then my mom passed away. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
And I was alone, and I was just calling people, but you can only call so many people, right? And you got to kind of have a look at what is happening here that is disrupting the balance. Like, why do we have chaos? Like, why are there like 7 loads of laundry to be done at one time? Like, why can't I just stay on top of it, right? Mm-hmm. So I came up with a list of all the things that are important when I am in balance. And then I kind of made them fit into an acronym. Mm-hmm. So the first acronym is rainbows. And, okay, so I'll just go through it.
Yeah.
So R is for reading. And they say that a year from now, you will only be as different as the conversations that you have in the books that you read. So I feel like reading is just so important. You can take like somebody's 10 years of experience and condense it into like a week, and then take everything that they know and put it into your own brain. So it's not just for de-stressing, but just the knowledge. And I hate the term self-help books, but I consider them like best self books.
Yeah.
So for me, reading is just key. So I would find that if I wasn't reading for like maybe 3 days in a row, if I hadn't picked up a book and had that me time, that we were in trouble. So that was the first one. R is for reading.
Yeah.
A is for appearance, and that is just the typical mom that is like, oh, I haven't showered in like 4 days, right? Or you're not putting on makeup, and then you run into someone that like, you know, you really wish that you had looked nice, that you had your business cards, whatever. So that was A, and that was just for appearance. And like, Michelle, you've got to take care of yourself, and you have to like, you put on some mascara and like have a shower or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Like just have a nice coat. Like as long as you have a nice coat, everything's okay. I is for internal development, which is about meditation. Like see how I kind of made that one work? Like internal development. So that's I, and that's just about centering yourself, breathing, kind of like a dog would be like, okay, you have to sit now. You have to relax and not move, and then fight your demons when you want to get up, you know, so that's I. N is for nutrition, and that was because I was finding myself in a crazy habit of just eating out all the time, and eating out for stress, or like, you know, getting some pop at the gas station and some gummy bears, whatever. So that was kind of going downhill. So that was the N. B was for body. So I got a gym membership, and or even walking in the forest. Like Surrey is the city of parks. There's so many forests there. So like, am I putting attention into my body? Am I just letting that slide for weeks upon end, or am I going every single day? So every time I hit one of these points, I get to tick it off for the day.
Right.
O is for overview of the house. You don't have to clean the whole house, but you take an overview. Like, can I load the dishwasher? Can I throw in a load of laundry? Can I sweep? Can I just put the pillows back on the couch? You do an overview 1 time per day. You look at your chart. Oh, I haven't done my O yet. Yeah. Right? W is for work. Like, have I reached out to a client? Have I edited something? Have I posted something? Right? My kids would do this for me as well, with me. And so W for them was workbooks. They had to sit at the table for like 5-10 minutes and do a workbook, right? Oh. Like they can do the appearance and the reading and the internal development. They can do all these things too, right?
It's wonderful.
So that's W, and then S is for skill or study. See, I've kind of altered it. So like, am I doing the piano? Am I like learning my languages? It's like, am I trying to acquire a skill? So that was kind of the rainbows that the girls would be like, so Mama, are we hitting our rainbows for the day? Like, oh, don't go stop at McDonald's, Mama, because, you know, it's poo food anyways. And this way, you know, you get your rainbow for the whole day, Mama. So, right.
Oh, that's so
it was
sweet.
great. Or let's go to the forest. You can get your bee on the rainbows.
Yeah.
So then I realized there were some things lacking. I did a little adjustment to the formula about a year later, and then came up with stars. So these were more the adult ones that kids don't have to do.
Yeah.
So just quickly, S is for to sell something, or to save, or to sell, or to save. So is there something in the house that I can put on Craigslist? Is there someone that I can reach out to? Can I make a sale? Did I do a shoot today? Did I bring money in, or save money, or not spend money, right? T for stars is training. Like, did I go on YouTube? Did I learn a new skill about a new brush, about some new thing, right? A is for alarm. I read the 5 a.m. Club on New Year's Day, and then I've been a real advocate of getting up early. So did I get up when I heard the alarm? arm. That's for A. If I don't do that, I don't get the A. So I have to do that. And then R is for relationships, because you've got to talk to adults when you're going crazy as a mom, right? Like, you need to talk to like your aunt or your friend or your colleague or whatever, just somebody. Even at the grocery store, you need to have a conversation with someone that's not, a child.
Yeah.
And then S, it was star, but I made it stars because I wanted to have another thing in there, which is silence. And that's what I get when I wake up early, is I get that moment to myself. Because if I notice I'm not getting silence for at least 3 days in a row, like if I've gone 3 days and I haven't had silence, then it's not good. So.
Right.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I can look at my chart, and if I've hit all those, I can feel great. If not, I can reassess. Okay, we need to put more attention into this. We need to prioritize this.
Right.
Because when these things are hit, I'm in balance and everything's going great.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So good luck with that.
Yeah. Did everybody write those down? Quickly, one more time.
There'll be a YouTube video
that's right.
that they can see, and it will explain on my channel. Focused Photographer.
For Focused Photographer. And your is
Diamond's Edge Photography is my brand.
Is your brand. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Well, this has been so much fun. I mean, you are just such an inspiring lady. The fact that you have all these things going.
Too.
Yeah, and the fact that it's grown so much, and it's all been you. It hasn't been hasn't been studied in some school or whatever. And then that's what I think that it's a good thing to realize, is that all this stuff nowadays can be done through
It can,
yourself,
man. And you can just improve yourself. Like, find out where you have weaknesses and make them into your strengths, right?
So thank you very much, Michelle.
Thanks, Emily.
Michelle Koebke. Michelle Koebke. It's been grand. And thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. And we shall see you at another point. Bye.
Bye. We're like, bye. Like a little harmony.